Welcome back. Last time, we were on a stealth mission. And this time we're going to talk about the Spider-Man. So I figured out essentially how to cheese these guys. I've made myself a little safe area where I can go after spawning him. And I've been trying to... And I figured out how to destroy the things that spawn the Warden. We defeated the Warden last episode. And then I talked a little bit about the third of the Batman trilogy. And now I'm going to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man. There's one, and you're not going to believe this, and two. Watch both. Spawned, but if I destroy that first, then I book it. This may have been more dangerous than the previous one, because he was up before I started booking it. But I did destroy the sensor that's been spawning him, I think. So I watched the... Let's talk about the Amazing Spider-Man 1 first. So the Amazing Spider-Man 1 was very good. To the point where I am going to make a bold statement. I'm not sure how agreed upon it is. But I believe Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man. Even better than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Sorry if you disagree, but I think whether it's the... I don't know if it's the actor or the writing or what, but I enjoyed the performance of that Spider-Man. He felt more like your classic nerd. He was... I mean, he follows all the things that the Spider-Man is. Very traditional Spider-Man. None of that changes here. We're going to test this by just running up boldly. Nothing's within range. Perfect. Oh, there's several of you. Yeah, so if I've been activating like all 4 of these, and that's why it's instantly spawning. The Warden needs 4 triggers to spawn. Oh, I've actually been activating 6? My god. Anyways, Gwen Stacy. I mean, I like the actress who played Gwen Stacy a lot in Easy A. I did all of this for a golden carrot. This is the icebox room. This is cold storage. Wait, unless that was a special type of ice. Is it? It's packed ice. I have a silk touch pickaxe. My god, I spent all that time. Well, I mean, I couldn't have known. I did all that for the information, and that makes it worth it. So, I really like that actress in Easy A. I knew her name not too long ago, but I forgot it since. But I like the dynamics going on. And then we have Dr. Connors. Spoilers for Spider-Man. Dr. Connors is the antagonist of The Amazing Spider-Man. He worked with Peter Parker's parents to make on genetic research. The goal? To use the properties of animals to... I'm going to break this one. It's going to activate that one. Damn, I was hoping it wasn't enough triggers to summon him. Hopefully my safe area is safe enough from him too. Ooh, he spawned on that part right there. Either that or he chased me for a bit. Anyways, I liked Gwen Stacy more than I liked MJ. MJ was definitely a more down-to-earth character. but Gwen Stacy just felt like a better character in general, like less relatable, but I don't know. I enjoyed. It might have just been the actress difference. Like, to be honest, I think the actress that played Gwen Stacy is a very good actress. So, could have just been that. Could have been the writing. I don't know. I enjoyed both Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy better than I liked the previous Peter Parker and MJ. It's my hot take. You disagree with it? Watch the movies and give me a detailed summary on why you think that. But Dr. Connors, the Green Goblin is still one of the funniest antagonists. He's like the Joker, except played by Willem Dafoe. So, and that's not in the Amazing Spider-Man. That's in the original first villain of the original original Sam Raimi trilogy. And I mean, it is really hard to beat Willem Dafoe's. Just Willem Dafoe in general is fucking fantastic. Let's establish that. Now we follow that up with the fact that the Green Goblin's a hilarious character, and you know how I feel about a good goofy villain. Now Dr. Connors is a bit goofy, but he's very just like he's your general power-hungry scientist with a discovery, but he was corrupted in the mind and wanted to turn everybody into lizards. Which is funny, don't get me wrong, but it's a funnier concept when brought up in Spider-Man No Way Home, which I call Spider-Man Homeless. It's the only one of those I've watched, by the way. Why are you still around? Despawn already. Am I just not far enough away? Like, do I have to come all the way over here? Hopefully there's only the second summoning thing so I can break that, then get out of here. Because he's up there, over there. But Dr. Connors isn't that interesting. He's he's interesting in terms of power concepts for this type of thing, but he's sort of just a powerful shapeshifter. And I enjoy a good powerful shapeshifter, but it's nothing wild. And now it's specifically with a strength of regeneration, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's enough there to justify him to be that good, in my opinion. And I like a good villain, so it was still such a good movie overall, though. It did end up. It is my third favorite Spider-Man movie. But then I watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now I've got words about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. First off, Jamie Foxx playing a nerd is hilarious because they're trying to make him off to be like the lonely nerd, incel, no friends, really like the doormat for everybody. And they did genuinely have me feeling bad for that man. Now, I'm not sure if that's just a statement about me being like, oh, the poor guy with no friends thing. And he got really attached to Spider-Man. He was like, oh, God, that's, he's a stan for him. And, that's pretty bad, but, I'm not there. Just leave. Just leave. Please, just go away. Why can't you just despawn already? But anyways, movie starts off with complications between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker because in the first movie, Gwen Stacy's father dies in the line of duty and tells Spider-Man that by being a hero, he will make enemies. And by making enemies, he will eventually get an enemy that will bring harm to his daughter. So to please just leave her out of it. And so he's now conflicted because he agrees, right? He agrees that he should maintain his promise to Officer Stacy or Police Chief Stacy, to Gwen Stacy's father. He wholeheartedly agrees with his statement. But on the other hand, he's fallen for her entirely. He's in love. They're compatible in everything. It just is what he wants. So it's a huge piece of conflict for him. And it drives a lot of his motivations during that section of the movie where he's trying to figure out which way to really swing this whole relationship. Is it, oh, I'll betray the promise despite the fact that I know it's dangerous? Or do I just uh, was that done to the sound of him despawning? I shouldn't uncrouch in this area. No, it's just thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. Oh, he's still stomping around over there. Let's just go over here. Jesus Christ. The other ones despawn pretty quickly. They agreed that they couldn't find me. I guess this guy's stuck in animation or something. But, he's has this conflict and it drives his character very well. Very well written. And I felt bad for Max because he's just trying to make it in his life. And he's a nerd. And he's probably, they give you all the characterizations. He's not good at making friends. And what other characterizations do they tell you fairly explicitly? Or implicitly. They don't explicitly say he's bad at making friends, but they say he doesn't have any friends. But he tries to, act like he's confident and has friends because he's embarrassed to say he doesn't. And that's very evident in the scene when Stacy points out, it's like, "Oh, is it your birthday?" And he's like, "Yeah, I would invite you, but big guest list." And she's obviously like, "This is a red flag," and it is. But he's trying to talk himself up, which I mean, that's perfectly fine. In fact, it's kind of like a neat detail that he wants to talk himself up because he doesn't want to feel embarrassed that he's has to celebrate his birthday alone. And he doesn't want to invite somebody random because that feels weird. And he's not an entire like recluse. He's just sort of not societally like cool or normal. So he has a little bit of suffering because of that. But it's just sort of like a general characterization. And so, I mean, the character's extremely well written. And then Jamie Foxx, spectacular actor, does extremely well to play this character and, play all the awkwardness of it. And I think he does an amazing job being extremely awkward with Max Dillon. And I mean, I think it's just such spectacular characterization. And then what are his character motivations? Because I'm talking about him. He's going to be the villain. I mean, general rule of thumb. If there's an extremely high, like, high bar actor, probably, and they're not the protagonist, probably the villain. But this is just the way that like they it's spectacular the way that they're able to just convey like he's they do I'm just saying they do it perfectly. They do the perfect balance of he's an awkward guy, he's not cool, he's not charismatic, he's clearly an introvert. You may be thinking, I think you're projecting. No, 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 no. Go watch the movie. You'll see what I mean. But it's truly like really well done awkwardness where he doesn't just say, yeah, I have no friends. I'll be celebrating alone. He's like, no, uh, I can't invite you because the guest list is full and everything. There will be, when he says like, there will be celebrities there, it's like, ooh, that one's you don't say that one. But like the rest of it, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'd invite you, but guest list is full. You don't I mean it's clearly too awkward, a little unrealistic, but the guy doesn't talk to people often. It's clear. And then I feel further bad for the guy cuz it's his birthday and he's in at work and in the human world in case you're like, "Oh, I mean you probably understand it because you probably might go to school on your birthday." But yeah, you got to still be a functioning member of society on your birthday. Unless you have like a cool summer birthday, in which you can avoid it for school, but then once you hit the stage of working, probably won't get that luxury. I'm not going to say definitely. There's a chance you can take work off on your birthday, but it's not a guarantee. So he's going to work on his birthday. It's not like, oh, sacre bleu, how dare he? No, he's going in. He'll do his day of work, then he'll celebrate. He's also a super Spider-Man fanboy because Spider-Man saved his life once, and I mean, it's a little extreme, but at the same time, it's a guy with no friends and this superhero, the celebrity of celebrities. And this is a man who has no power over anybody, and he's thinking, man, to be like that guy. And that's sort of one of the things Spider-Man's supposed to be. It's a motif of any superhero is to be that image of heroicism that everybody wants to become. In the Sam Raimi trilogy, they play off of that with Spider-Man being, or with Venom being, like the anti-Spider-Man that Spider-Man becomes, and it allows him to be evil. You be an evil version of Spider-Man. I have no clue where I am. I thought that was back where the altar was, but it's clearly not because there's more stuff here than there was before. Unless this is the altar that I was at? Could be. Oh, which means that there's an extra one of these that I can't get to. Oh, that's devious. Because if I place a block, I'm going to alert. I need specifically the one placing stone. What if I break it before it calls? I definitely did not break it before it calls. Oh god, and I'm triggering all of these along the way. Oh, and I'm walking towards the big wall of death. I think that might actually be the corner I was... No, because it... Maybe... No, I'm just lost. No, that's the corner I came from. There's the ice. Yeah. I came from that corner. That's just an opposite corner. But those altars, I think, have good loot in them. Probably. So, as I was saying, I'm going on a lot about how well they did the characterization of this and the motif, but I really want to stress it. Like, it is probably my favorite part about this is how well both Jamie Foxx played it and how well it was written. And this guy is, in fact, a loser, but like they did it in a way that's not like, just he's not the pinnacle of looks. They specifically use some whatever makeup technique to make it look like he has a small tooth gap. And then they went, oh yeah, put some not so appealing glasses on him. and give him like, thinning hair, traditionally not attractive. And that's just how it is. And so here you have this great actor playing this very well written nerd, right? And he's trying to get by, right? Like he's celebrating his birthday alone because he's got no friends. Uh, and then he's at work, and then it's his birthday. Let's remind you of that. And now his boss knows it's his birthday because he says it. But something in general is like, oh, bosses they're not very nice. And it's like, oh, if you need to work overtime on your birthday, really, an understanding boss will say, like, no. But instead, this boss specifically chooses to make Max Dillon work overtime on his birthday. And it's like, oh, come on, you're really like just doing the man dirty at this point. Please be the last of this types of altars. This area. They failed. Okay, that doesn't mean that's all of them though, because there could be another one down here somewhere. Oh shit! Over the lava? I don't see any. But they really, this guy is meant to be an asshole, clearly, like the boss. And he is. He's an outrageous asshole who forces him to work on his birthday, work overtime on his birthday, doing dangerous work, because this is electrical work. He calls this guy a liar when he takes credit for things that he's actually done, which, they are somewhat outrageous claims. Like he's saying, they use my ideas on the power grid. It's like, oh yeah, sure, pal. And you work for me. It's like, so it couldn't have been you. But it's like, come on, you know this guy's smart. Like, why you gotta be such a dick? But he's just being a dick to be a dick, and it's unfortunate. But those types of people exist. And then... Okay, so I can walk around here and just activate these sensors. And open this chest. There's nothing in here of value. Aha, fire aspect 1. What a diamond hoe. Now that's a keeper. Fire aspect 1's not worth anything. A candle. A music disc. Are candles craftable? These things break pretty easily. Oh, these are colored candles specifically. White candles. Yeah, but they do him dirty, and then he's forced to do dangerous electrical work. And then, so he sees 2 wires separated over an electric eel tank. And if you've watched a Spider-Man movie, you know everybody gets their powers from falling into something. Or a lot of people get their powers from just falling into something dangerous, and it has an effect. So he's working on fixing his electrical cables. He calls in to this guy. And this guy, he's not as bad. What he should have done, he calls in and goes, hey, can you turn off the breaker to this section? We've got a malfunction here. I need to fix. And the other guy goes, sorry, pal, I'm already, out the door. And doesn't help him. And it's like, really? You should have just helped the guy out. Come on. But, technically it was already overtime, and that guy could have already been, truly leaving. And he didn't know really the full situation. So, he doesn't help. So Max Dillon, he has confidence in his own abilities. He's not like, oh, I guess I just have to give up. No, he goes up and he goes, I'll just fix the electrical problem. And he goes up and he puts the two doohickeys together in order to make it work. Oh, that's a summoner down there at the end of this thing. Can I ignore that entirely? If I trigger one of these, I bet it'll chain react. But it's just sort of like a series of unfortunate events. They're just being a dick to this guy, really. He's getting shafted. And I mean, again, I already said, I feel bad for this guy, because he definitely doesn't deserve all this hate. Yeah, sure, he's a bit of a nerd. But does he deserve to be like, oh yeah, you're a nerd, so just die on your birthday? Like, come on. It's just not fair. I didn't like his treatment. I felt like they were being overly mean to him. And this doesn't turn him into a villain directly. I'm just gonna see if this block drops, and if it does, what it is. I don't think it is gonna drop, but based off how long it's taking to mine. So then he falls into the tank of electric eels and dies. The man dies. He's eaten and electrocuted by these electric eels and dies. Meanwhile, you know, Spider-Man's going through his shtick, and meanwhile, the Osborn child watches Norman Osborn die. In this one, he's not the Green Goblin gliding around. But then the young son takes over the yeah, it didn't drop it anything. Oh, that'll trigger if there's something nearby. There isn't. Thank God. Or thank me, rather. But you have your kid, and he's dying. He has a pre-existing condition that he wants cured, and he realizes, oh, well, the Spider-Man can probably cure my blood, because he matches all of the descriptions of being bit by one of our spiders. And then they're like, after the death of this guy, they sort of got rid of evidence. And he's like, well, shit. It's like, well, there is still some venom. He's like, or well, no, first he's like, I need Spider-Man's blood, because they got rid of all those spiders, the radioactive ones, so I can't just get bitten. So then he's like, well, I'll ask Peter, my good friend, who I've known a long time, hey, you took a picture of Spider-Man, so you clearly know the guy. He's like, no, that's not how that works. I took a picture from a distance away. He's like, no, you definitely know him. And based off how defensive you were being about him, you definitely are friends with him. Could you ask him if I could have some of his blood to save my life? And he goes, I don't think that's going to work, because that could have, like, very bad side effects. And he's like, I'm going to die. If his blood makes me die differently, I'm still just dying. And he's like, I'll see what I can do. And he's having this conflict. Meanwhile, he's still having the conflict about his own, like, status with his girlfriend. So, you know, he's living a complicated life. How are we? Nothing nearby. Makes it safe to just build here. There was a chest up here for sure. Two notch apples! I can start rebuilding my empire. Or I can survive one fight against a warden. But so that's just the way this movie's progressing. You've got the Osborn kid's like, I need to meet with Spider-Man to save my life. And then Peter's like, I'll see what I can do, because he wants to save his friend's life if he can. But he knows what happened with... He knows exactly what happened with Dr. Connors is essentially just that. It'll mutate and turn him into a freak if it doesn't kill him. And if it turns him into a mutant, he'll have all these nasty ideas in his head as well, which was exactly what happened to Dr. Connors. So he refuses on the grounds of, this could fuck you up permanently, and I'm not going to be responsible for that. I've seen what can happen, and I'm not going to let it happen. And so he's somewhat pissed off about this. And he's like, you're seriously not going to help me? Our shining beacon of hope, Spider-Man, is going to let me die? And he's like, I'm sorry, pal. It's too dangerous. So Norman Osborn goes looking off for a new way to get the Venom, which his assistant says, they didn't actually get rid of all of it. In fact, all they did was they said, hey, let's stash it just in case it's valuable. But at that time, they go, this Max guy died while on your hands as the new CEO. Doesn't look good for you. And he just pins it all on him. It's like, and you told us to cover it up? He's like, I didn't tell you to cover it up. Oh, another super hoe. This time with efficiency 5. Swift sneak? I didn't even know that was a real thing. Why does that go on the pants? But it's just sort of this whole like wild chase he's having in the background. And secretly, while this is happening, Max actually ends up waking up in the morgue. And he goes out into the... Oh, shit. So he ends up leaving because he can see all the electricity and everything. He ends up just leaving the morgue, puts on a hoodie, and he's scared. He doesn't want to destroy everything. He's scared of what's happening to him. And he learns that he has some powers, but he doesn't immediately start using them. He's for like dangerous shit. He's just like terrified of what he's becoming, and he doesn't know what's going on. Not something he's seen before, becoming an electric man, because his body's like disintegrating. Is it a second warden, or did that warden come over here? But there's a range on the warden where if there's already an existing warden within a certain range, it'll teleport that warden rather than spawn a new one. I should not get close to this wall. He can shoot through walls. But he goes into the city because he's just lost and confused. And again, very well characterized. He didn't just become psychotically evil. But he goes into the city and he's confused, and the police start shooting at him, which scares him, and he shoots out these shock waves of electricity. and he starts causing mayhem. And Spider-Man comes and starts saving the police. And then Max, huge Spider-Man fan. This is going to activate the other one. I already know that. It didn't? Holy shit. So he's a huge Spider-Man fan. So he's ecstatic. He considers Spider-Man to be his best friend. He suffers from being a little parasocial, but he's like, "Oh my God, you're him. You're Spider-Man." And he goes, "Yes." And then he's like, "You forgot who I am." And then Spider-Man, he swiftly pulls out the saying his name when he tells him his name. It's like, "I'm sorry, I just didn't recognize you like that." And he's like, "No, it's okay. I don't know what's happening to me." He's like, "I see that." It's like, "I don't want to hurt anybody." It's like, "Yeah, nobody's gonna hurt you." And then they command one guy with a sniper to be like, "If he moves, shoot him." And he's standing there, and Spider-Man's like, "Hold your fire. Hey, we don't want to hurt you. We're just a little scared and confused by what you are, too. So let's talk this out." And you know what? This is exactly how that situation should go. Because he's not trying to be evil. He just happens to be evil. Or happens to be powerful. It doesn't know. Eating triggers these guys? I guess it is noise being made. But he's scared, rightfully so. I'd be scared if I suddenly woke up from being dead, being able to shoot electricity. And so he's going through a big transition in his life, let's call it. And Spider-Man is trying to help out and talk him down. Because Spider-Man is truly a good guy. He doesn't just beat the shit out of the bad guys. He tries to convince the bad guys to not be bad. It's sort of like his thing. So he's trying to talk Max down. And then eventually he moves. And when he moves, somebody takes a shot at him. Which makes him very mad. And so he starts shooting off electricity again, because that's what he does when he's upset and getting shot by bullets. Fair response. I'm not going to fault the man for that. And so he's just trying to figure himself out. Spider-Man's trying to talk him down. And then, boom, he gets shot by a sniper. And he starts shooting electricity. Right. Before that happens, though, he's looking around. And one of the things that he really liked about Spider-Man was he's on all these big screens. And wouldn't it be cool to be on the big screen like Spider-Man? That was one of his things that he had said earlier. And now all the cameras were looking at him. He was on the big screen. He was so happy by that. And then now all of a sudden Spider-Man has taken the spotlight from him by showing up. Before everybody was looking at him, now everybody's cheering for Spider-Man. Everybody's cheering against him. And again, now he's the outcast. And so he gets enraged by this. He's getting upset by this. He's not enraged. He's getting upset by this, which is putting him in an unstable mental situation. And then he gets shot. He gets shot, which causes him to go off. And then Spider-Man saves some people from the result of his shockwave. And Spider-Man doesn't blame him for this. He's just like, hey, it's cool. But he starts saving everybody. And all the cameras pan to Spider-Man. And that's when Max is like, this is his breaking point. He's like, "No, you're not my friend. You don't know who I am. You're just trying to convince me that you're the good guy and taking all the promotion." I can't be anybody while you're around. And so he is upset. And he starts going off and he starts fighting. And he's using a lot of electrical powers, and Spider-Man's wrist thing blows up because it's battery powered. And it took too much of a shock. So he only had one web slinger, and he's web slinging and saving people, and then boom, he vanishes, and this guy's, being very powerful. And then they use water to get him to not be powerful, essentially to defeat him. And if you're thinking, why does water defeat an electric man? Well, I'll tell you. The reason, because you're probably thinking, well, isn't electricity good for water? Don't you need to get out of the pool when the lightning starts? Don't you need to, if you're wet when you get shocked, it's going to be worse? All of those things are true. Now, the reason for this is water reduces electric resistance. That's step one. That's why being wet and touching something is bad. Water is a good conductor of electricity. So it reduces, by having water on you, it conducts electricity better. It's like touching metal versus touching rubber. Touching rubber, you're not going to get shocked. Touching metal, you will. Assuming electrical currents, though. How far did I go? Because this isn't the... I already looted this temple. This isn't the... Yeah, this is the wrong temple. So, why does the water work against the electrical man? Well, it's because of a simple fact of electricity. Water conducts electricity very well. So what happens when you have a lot of water? This is why you need to get out of the pool when lightning starts, because it's not about the 1 in whatever chance that lightning happens to strike you. It's about the fact that lightning, the surface of the water is larger than you. If it's not, then you're probably in a barrel, not in a pool, and I don't think the lightning rule applies to you. So, water gets struck by lightning. Any point of that surface, instead of just you, any point in that pool or in that lake gets struck by lightning, and the water itself tries to grab that, or the electricity tries to go through the path of least resistance. In nature, that is the rule. Things follow the path of least resistance. Lightning strikes the water, and everywhere is very conductive. It wants to take the electricity. So the electricity spreads, but as it spreads, it hits all these new water molecules, and it spreads again. And then it spreads and spreads and spreads until it goes through the entire area. But here's the thing. If it's spreading through the entire area, it's spreading out. If it goes in 8 different directions, it divides its power in each direction by 8. It only has that initial charge. So he's a lot of electrical power, but by getting bursted down with water, that electricity starts channeling through that water. Now, it spreads the electricity through the water, but it's spreading his energy out. So he collapses. And then he's taken and put into a big vat of, I don't know, probably electrified salt water or something like that, where he's kept in it so that he can't. Salt water does it even better because salt has certain properties as well. So that's what's happening with him, and he's being kept inside this cage. Anyways, now we jump back to Osborn, who learns that they kept the spider venom just in case. So he wants it, but he's just been kicked out of Oscorp for covering up a grisly murder. Is that one going to activate? No, there's a different one around me. There's a 5th one over there. So he gets kicked out by one of the members of the board, and this pisses Osborn off, and he shows himself out, and then he starts going through places because he's Norman Osborn's son. He's the head of the company. So he starts making his way through certain parts of the facility, but he can't get to all of the most top secret. So he gets into one area, puts on a disguise, and starts going through like he's supposed to be into the top secret areas. To which he finds Max, uh, and he frees Max, who's been being tortured essentially as this doctor is testing upon him to see what he is, the limits of him. And he's torturing him in this system by sending a lot of electricity through him, essentially to test his limits. And then they're dispersing that electricity. So then, he's upset. Now he has power, but he's being tested on it instead. He's still smart, so, he understands that it's not for his own benefit. He understands he's just being researched on. And his entire situation sucks. Then Osborn shows up, and this is a great scene. It's done so well. Osborn is there, and he's saying, like, if we team up, we can do this. I need you to get into Oscorp, and you need me to get out of there. So let's work together. And he's like, and he's about to get hauled off. And he was like, why do you need me? What's so special about me? And then he screams, please, I need you. I need your help. And this is everything this guy ever wanted, was to be the hero, to help out. He also disliked, Osborn also mentioned he disliked Spider-Man because he had betrayed him. So both of them dislike Spider-Man, and then he says the phrase, please, I need you, as he's being hauled off. And he immediately uses all of his power to break free and save Osborn, because he's always wanted to be this hero. And I mean, oh shoot, there is another thing over here. I didn't see where it is, but I think I may have just found what the effective tool is for all this stuff. Oh yeah, that's why there's hose everywhere. And this is an efficiency 5 hoe with fortune 3, which definitely works on experience. Oh, that's a game changer. We're going to be able to do this shit so much faster now. But there is another thing over there somewhere. Anyways, so here we have Osborn and him teaming up. I don't care as much for Osborn. That's why I'm just talking about Max. And so here we have this character who just wanted to be helpful. He wanted friends. And he walks up to Osborn and says, you want to be my friend? He's like, I thought we already were. It's like, it's exactly what he wanted. It's exactly everything he wanted. Somebody who would be his friend, that saw him as the hero. And he was going to take revenge. And his friend knew that and accepted that in him. And he felt vindicated. It's truly glorious how they made a character whose motivations are so easy to see, that aren't like some convoluted, like, I took a super serum and now I'm insane. It's, this man got fucked over by every dice roll, and finally, everything he's wanted, everything he's worked to get to, can finally all culminate into the result he wants. So with that, he gets to the point of, now he'll help Osborn out. So he defeats everybody in order to have Osborn get to the area he needs to, because they go to the people who had essentially the heads up, the higher ups who orchestrated the events. I don't know where the one that summoned those guys, or maybe it was because I used it on a certain block. Maybe that block summons the Warden. Oh, I doubt it. Swift Sneaks 3! Silk Touch! But where? But he's too far away. I won't detect and send it to him. Silk Touch and Swift Sneak, so I don't need these twos unless it goes up to 4. Man, Swift Sneak 3 would be very useful in this place. But I didn't know that was an enchant. I'm not gonna mine enough iron here to just get an anvil just to apply it. If I find an anvil, I'll apply it. Swift Sneak. But Norman Osborn and him, he finally gets everything he wants, and then you have your sick showdown where he goes and starts attacking people, taking power from the city. And you know, the whole like his shtick is now everybody else is gonna know what it felt like to be me, what it felt like to be powerless in the dark. And so he starts taking the power. They took his power design, so he knows it all. And he'll take over the power in the city. And so, honestly, after watching that movie, I think Spider-Man No Way Home did a terrible job portraying this character. Because they just made him like a power hungry, like, I like power. This place has a lot of new power. I can't wait to devour it. Well, in reality, that's not his character at all. In reality, his character is I'm scared of what I've become, but I will use this power to be everything I ever wanted to be, which is far better motivation. Maybe it's triggering something over here? I don't know where I'm triggering something. I don't want to just open this chest, loot it, and run again. That'd be less interesting. Oh, I did it again. Oh, fuck it. What's this? Thorns 1. Is it in this stack of blocks? It might be. But it's just sort of this big culmination of they just didn't reuse the same bits of the character that made him interesting, in my opinion. He was still extremely powerful, made him a fun threat in No Way Home, but they didn't keep with his characterization. But anywho, they do all this really well, and then he's defeated in a big fight, and here we have Gwen Stacy is this big threat, or is in danger because this big threat's nearby, but she's the only one who can help Peter with the power grid thing. And so they save the city's entire power supply from probably the biggest threat, and they take him out by essentially turning him into a big battery where all the electricity goes back into him, and then he can't take all the power in, and so he explodes effectively. And so you would think that's it, but no. The Osborn kid, this will be a lot faster. The Osborn kid has successfully broken into picking up experience orbs. Triggers. That's why everything here gives experience. Because picking up experience orbs triggers sound. Oh my lord. That is absurd. Anyways, Osborn sweeps in. He had injected himself with the spider venom, which turned him into a monstrous freak. And then he stole some of the equipment from the labs and wait, this is my pillar already. I've been here. I mean, we got a lot of the stuff from here. There's not really much more to grab from here. He turned himself into a freak. He grabbed the stuff and became Gobbo Jr., as I like to call him. I don't know what the official name for it is, but the mini Green Goblin. Sneak again. More of this stuff. I don't need another 13, do I? No, I already have one. And so it's just sort of... I don't like it. Again, I didn't like it when it was in Spider-Man 3. I didn't even finish Spider-Man 3 either time I watched it. Oh, those things are right there. I'm just sprinting past those, huh? What you want, big guy? I'm sprint jumping. I'm tired of sneaking around your place. Oh, there's another one over here. Time to summon him over here now. Name tag. It's mine. I think he'll probably get trapped in animation because he'll have to keep crawling up. This place is massive. I'm not gonna... Go ahead, drama queen. The worst you can do is blind me. Alright, which way did it come in from? I think probably the opposite side of that, right? I broke one of them. I broke it on this side. Because I built up to it from this side. But I said I'm tired of sneaking. Anyways, Gobbo Jr. grabs Gwen Stacy, carries her about. They have a big bout in the sky. Spider-Man ends up making the typical mistake. Rule 1 of being a superhero. Alright, this is rule 1. If your female companion has been grabbed by a maniac who laughs as he goes around, he doesn't have to be flying. He's grabbed your lady companion and laughs maniacally and insanely as he does anything, and is dangling her from up high. Do not say the words "let her go," because they will comply. Is he able to follow me? Sounds like he's following me. Because it happens with the Joker in Batman, and it happens with Green Goblin in Amazing too. And it's just like, this is not a mistake you should be making constantly. Come on, where is... Alright. Wasn't there because that still has stuff. Yeah, if this still has spawners. I mean, I'm on the opposite side then? Because I came from there, and that's not... Doesn't help that I need to use the restroom. Here was this big thing which I looped around to, right? No, Yes? No? Yes? Maybe? Yes? This bridge looks familiar. It wasn't built by me, but it was here when I got here. Knees vanishing. I think this is my original area, my original safe corner. Anyways, I don't like Gobbo Jr., but he does end up killing a good character. And they set up like, oh, Amazing Spider-Man 3 is going to happen. And I looked it up, and I could not find evidence of an Amazing Spider-Man 3's existence. Because it doesn't. They didn't make an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Which is unfortunate, because I liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. In terms of other Spider-Man I've watched the Miles Morales ones. Those were good. I'm not going to go into detail. It's been a little bit since I've seen them. Plus, those are more recent. Recent enough to where I would say that I cannot just freely spoil them. So yeah, also like one of them is, I mean, they're part of a trilogy that hasn't completed yet. They are extremely good, by the way. Even uncompleted, they are extremely good. Also, this is visible from the surface. Well, I mean, it's not visible, but it is deep. And it comes from the surface, and there's a mountain with snow. But it is truly just like... Spider-Man is definitely my favorite superhero now. I mean, I guess he already sort of was, but like... It was between him and Batman, I guess, but like... I like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man a lot. That's where I'm going to put my my mark of favorite. If you disagree, that's fine. I'm sure you have your reasons. It's not like I'm saying, oh, Tobey Maguire sucked. No, I still enjoyed his performance as Spider-Man too. I'm just saying I prefer Andrew Garfield. So that leaves us with the question of, well, so what's your favorite Spider-Man movie then? And it's this one. I just gushed about the villain for like over half an hour. Wasn't it obvious? I like this one the best. Come on, sleep before any zombies get to me. Wonderful. Yeah, but by the way, I wouldn't have guessed this cave for the high erosion biome. I guess the end city is technically under that, though, I think. So maybe I would have checked it, because this is a massive crater. So it's possible I would have gone down and seen it anyways, but save myself some time. Oh yeah, this thing is a massive crater. I probably would have checked not after too long either if I would have popped my head back up. Though I can't say for certain I would have seen it. Can't say I would have gone this way. So I'm glad I just used a command to find the end city. Yes, I did. You can see it. I turned on this so it doesn't actually pause when I press escape. But I prefer him the best. He's not as quotable as Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, but he does have some fun lines that he says throughout the movie. And I mean, my favorite villain line of all time. You don't know Spider-Man. Like I know him. He's a Leo. You're a Sagittarius. Obviously delivered better than the way I delivered the line, but overall, good movie. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. Miles Morales movies are also good. I hadn't thought about ranking them in with the live Spider-Man movies. I'll reserve my judgment on that until whenever the final of the trilogy comes out. Because, I mean, I'm sure if you're in the superhero fandoms, you know that there is a. You've heard about the second one, which means you're going to hear about the third one. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. I'm not sure how much I'd like to do left in the. Oh, right, I'll probably go for all advancements. But before I continue on to the next episode, save and quitting undoes the save to land, so I no longer have cheats. And now I'm back. Why would I ever take Eldritch Blast off my hotbar? It's important. But that's my opinion on the Spider-Man movie. As I survived the ancient city right after fighting the Wither. What a productive little set of time I had. Anyways, I've been talking for over an hour. Man, I thought I was going to wrap this up swiftly after the 45-minute mark, but I failed to do that. So I'm going to end the episode here. I'll probably. Ooh, it is quite late. Quite late. I generally record for like 45 minutes at a time. Am I feeling up for it? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna. It's late enough where I definitely shouldn't. So I'll just end it here in my play session. I'll probably end up doing all the advancements. So, you know what? This is an extra long one. You earned it, viewer. You specifically, viewer. I'm talking to you. I don't know how to find each of these, but I'm imagining I haven't found each of those, so that'll probably be the hardest. Honey, kill 2 phantoms with a piercing arrow. I haven't even seen one of those. So I need to use a crossbow. I need to discover every biome. I don't know exactly how many of those there are. Make the meadows come alive with the sound of a jukebox. I don't know what that. Just use a jukebox, imagine. Walk on powdered snow without sinking into it. I don't know how I would do that. This requires some research, I guess. What a deal. Trade with a villager at the build height limit. Why? Why? Do I even do all the advancements? Some of these seem really bullshit. I'm probably not even going to finish all the advancements. I'll probably play a bit longer in this world, but probably not. Don't expect too much more out of this world. We had fun with Amon Goetamenium, Lightkeeper Zeus. We had our tower. We had our beacon, which did jack shit. It's going to heal me for 2.5 hearts. That's what it's going to do. I consumed plenty of these totems. I got a total of 5 enchanted golden apples, ate 3 of them to survive the wardens. Failed to survive the warden several times. But I defeated a warden. But this shit was just. I had a fun time. But I have considered myself at the point where I'd say I have beaten Minecraft in Ultra Hardcore. Can you get all the advancements in Ultra Hardcore? Yeah, probably. I mean, half of these just seem tedious, not difficult. Trade with a villager at height limit. I mean, like, the easiest way to do that would probably be to build a giant staircase to the height limit. Have a zombie villager chase you up, then just convert him at build limit. Like, that would be how I would do it. Like, but why? It's so tedious. tedious for nothing. Yeah, so sorry if you hate a long episode that I made this a long one. Or congratulations if you enjoy the fact that it's a long one. I'll think about doing all the advancements, but some of these just seem dumb. And if I am going to, I'm probably not going to go out with a bang and go like, oh, I'm just going to die. And I'll probably leave this world sitting in the backdrop and then just, maybe one day come back to it. Probably not, but it'll exist there just sitting there as an old world. But hey, third time's the charm on these series. And as you know, since you've been watching through the Season 4 playlist, that this was the third Ultra Hardcore Survival I did. And you're thinking, well, it was in Season 3. No, Season 3 never happened. Ah, there's my beacon. Here, we can heal. Wow, look at that. But we've done it. We beat the challenge I set out to do. You actually sneak at walking pace with this. That would have probably halved the video time if I had this in advance. Oh, I would also need cover me with debris, which is the netherite one. Yeah, that wouldn't be very fun to do either, because with my rules I can't do bed mining, and if I bed mine, then I just... The ward armor trim. What does it look like? What does it look like in purple? You know what, let's also... No. There's no blue option, right? It's just... Man, it looks kind of lame. Let's see what it looks like on each piece of armor. Besides the boots. I doubt it would look that spectacular on the boots. It's not really anything. I don't think that is anything. That's... No, we'll put it on the chest piece just because it's the flash speed. Oh, but there's nothing on the back. Fantastic. How's the advancements looking for this? Oh, that's the second style. And I have another, like, really rare style. Snout. And then eye. Oh, right. No, I wanted to put eye on things because eye was cool. Yeah, I apologize for this being a long episode. Want it to be longer? Yeah. It's exactly what I said I wanted to do. I will not be turning this episode into 2 episodes. I just refuse. I'm going to put snout on the pants. That actually doesn't look too bad. What about on the chest plate? What about eye on the chest plate? Oh yeah, we're definitely doing eye on the chest plate. Look at that. Did I just get rid of the only other thing I had for that type? Yeah, you know it. Snout. Wow, that's terrible. Or are you doing the pants one that actually does something? Let's look at our other options for our... I still have the amethyst on me. Hey, how do you feel about Dune in purple? Nothing. Eye in purple. That's... Is it really just it gives you eyelashes or eyebrows? Oh, it's supposed to be like the helmet has eyes, but it just looks like a big bushy purple eyebrows. How's the advancement now towards that? 2. I'm still missing. What am I missing? A lot of these apparently. Yeah, I'm not gonna do all advancements. That's obnoxious. Doesn't seem fun to me. I'd rather start up a modded world and have some fun with that. Would I turn this into the modded world? No. No, I wouldn't. But look at all these name tags you guys got. It's true. I could do a lot with all of this junk. What do I do with disc fragments? Tell me, what's... Candle is a regular candle and gray dye. Alright. Can I craft music discs? Is that what disc fragments are? Disc. Change depending on which one I'm in. Nope. Disc fragments. Alright. One final thing. Oh, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah. By the way, in case you were curious of what time it is, my time, don't worry about it. I'm not getting tired. Not yet. He said tired and wanting to stop the episode, but he doesn't want to end it on a cliffhanger. Disc fragment. Let's see. 9 can be combined in a crafting table to make the music disc named 5. And I'm sure it's fantastic. That's it for this episode. I talked about Spider-Man. I beat the game by killing 2 bosses in one sitting. And there you have it. All in all, the Warden didn't feel like much of a boss compared to anything. Oh, he was much stronger than the other guys. Yeah, he was, but he didn't feel like a boss. Like the Wither feels like a boss because he has the big health bar and he flies around and he has 2 phases. The Ender Dragon feels like a boss because he's a giant arena. The Elder Guardian feels like a boss because of the arena. There are 3 of them. It feels like they're meant to be. The Warden, sure, that was the Warden's arena, but the Warden respawns. He's just an enemy. I consider him a boss because he has a boss's stat block. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be a boss. Like he, oh, of course, if it wasn't a boss stat block, he doesn't have an HP bar. He doesn't have an arena. You could have just made it like a one-shotable character that does a ton of damage, that sees you, that hears you when you do so. Like he isn't in himself dangerous, or he isn't himself dangerous, but he's an arena hazard. He was designed to be a hazardous piece of the arena. That's it. He wasn't designed for being fought. He was designed to be avoided. And I mean, it's a cool mechanic. I agree with that, but he's not a boss. That's all I'm saying. This has been Derushender, bitching and moaning, making hot takes, and nothing else for you. Peace.